Welcome back to Barbecue with Greg. Let's put that meat on the grill. Let's get started. Well, hello there, barbecue friends. Today, we're going to be cooking both a beef blade roast and a pork blade roast here on the Louisiana Grill's pellet grill. Now, I set the grill to 275. I know a couple weeks ago I did a pork blade roast and we made that into pulled pork. Today, thought I'd do both pork and beef, get it set up, get it on here. Maybe we'll look at the difference between the two in the end, see how this cook goes. So while our grill's coming up to temperature, let's prepare the meat. Here I got my pork blade roast and my beef blade roast. They're both around the same size, so I thought the cooking time should come around the same, but we'll see. Okay, see a slight difference in color between the two cuts, but it's a very similar cut. Of course, there's a little more fat on this one. They both have like different muscles running through them. So between the different muscles and different fat content, I mean, it's going to give off some nice flavor. I'm going to start off like I did my last pork blade roast with some Frank's Red Hot. I'm going to season these both the same. We're going to try to keep the cook similar. And we'll do the same with the beef blade roast. Now I'm going to use some Kansas City rub from BBQ Pit Boys. Now the reason I chose this is it's got a little bit of sweetness to it, a little tanginess, and I believe it'll go well on both of these cuts of meat. Put a generous amount here because it's a large cut of meat. Now these two cuts of meat are ready for the grill. Now just to monitor things throughout the cook, I'm going to put a meter probe in both of these. Number one, I'm going to put in the pork. Put that right toward the center. Number two, I'll put in the beef. Now our grill's up to temperature. We're going to start these off directly on the grill. Give our grills a quick brush. Nice stainless steel bristle brush. Okay, we'll put our pork roast here. We'll put our beef roast here. And I got the pork roast fat side up. Of course, there's no real fat side on the beef roast, but we got it in the same position. There we have it. Now I'm going to be using cherry pellets throughout this cook. I'll take you step by step throughout this cook. I'll see you on the next step. Okay, we're now roughly 2 hours into this cook. I got an interior temperature of my pork shoulder at 115, and I have an interior temperature on the chuck roast at 107. Now I know when I put the probes in both those meats, the probe is a little tighter going into the beef, so I know those muscle fibers are a little tighter. It may take a little longer for the temperature to come up on that one. So we'll watch it as we go. Now I am watching, so when the juices start getting released out of these roasts, I want to put them in some trays. So in preparation of that, because I know it's going to happen pretty soon, I'm starting to see some smoke come out, so I know some of the fat's starting to drip. What I want to do now is prepare these trays that we're going to eventually put our roasts in. So what I got is roughly 1/4 cup of butter, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and I did that to both. Then what I'm going to do is add a root beer to both. There we have it. Now I want to get that warmed up in the grill just to melt down that butter, get those sugars melted up. Then we'll give everything a bit of a stir before we put the roast in. All right, close the lid. So we'll give our trays about 15 to 20 minutes there. Then we'll come back, give it a little mix, and we'll put our roast in there. All right, here we are after about 15 minutes. You can see all our butter's melted down. You can see on our roast, I got a nice little bark starting to form. What we're gonna do, just give this a bit of a mix. Wow, that's so good just on its own. All right, we're gonna start off with our beef roast here, which would be probe number 2. What I'm gonna do is cut the strings off of this. We're gonna set this in our tray here. We'll cover that with foil. And we'll put our probe back in through the foil. Tell that beef's a little bit softer than it was before. And we'll do the same thing with the pork roast. Put our probe back in there. Close our lid. All right, for the rest of this cook, we're kind of in cruise control. We're just gonna watch our temperatures. When the interior temperature gets to the right level, I'll bring you back. I'll show you what I'm gonna do next. All right, we're just over 4 hours cooking time. The beef blade roast is actually done before the pork roast. It's showing me a temperature of 206 degrees, so it's time to remove it from the heat. Now the pork blade roast is showing me a temperature of 201 degrees. It's gonna come off very shortly, so I might as well take them both off at the same time. So we're gonna shut the grill off. I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna keep it covered in foil, keep it in that tray. We're just gonna let it rest like that. Then I'll bring you back for the taste test. Roast. All right, both blade roasts have now rested. We're gonna take them out of the trays, lay them on the board, have a good look at them. Here we have our beef blade roast. Sorry, I believe I had that backwards. Here's our pork roast. Here's our beef blade roast. Okay, so our pork roast here. Now, I cooked it like this a couple weeks ago, and you can see just shreds apart. Just beautiful. Shred a little bit of that apart. Show you what that looks like. Now the beef blade roast, let's see if we can do the same. Okay, this one's a little bit tougher. Ah, hot on the fingers. This one's a little bit tougher than the pork roast, probably because it's a much leaner cut. All right, I know like from a couple weeks ago I did the pork blade roast, made it into pulled pork, very similar way. Let's give it a try. Okay, actually the root beer makes a difference. Pretty good. The meat itself has a great flavor. Tastes a little bit of that spice from our dry rub. That's pretty good. Okay, now the beef roast. Beef blade roast. Cooked very similar. Seasoned the same. Cooked the same. These are similar in size. They both took about 4 hours, 20 minutes to cook at 275. Slight sweetness to the meat. Wow, again, very good. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to shred both of these. We're going to have sandwiches. We're going to do all kinds of things with the meat. This was a fun kind of comparison to do. I've never done both beef and pork at the same time. And it was fun to see how they cook a little bit different, but actually the same as well. Hope you enjoyed this video. I appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up. Again, if you want to see more videos like this, click that subscribe, and we'll see you next time on BBQ with Greg.
Thanks for watching BBQ with Greg, one of those barbecue cooking shows people watch on YouTube sometimes.